Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Esther Snow. I recently moved to Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. Today I thought I would try something a little different, and I just have some laundry to fold, so I figured I'd work on that while chatting with you guys and just kind of giving you a brief life update. If you watch, I made a video a couple weeks ago just talking about what it's been like moving to Vancouver and kind of how things have progressed since then. About a week ago, I would say, me and Andrew, my husband, were talking, and I guess I found like a little bit of new motivation to keep applying to full-time jobs. So I am in the application process for 2 different full-time jobs, and I'm kind of in the waiting process to hear back and see if I can get interview and things like that. I'm wanting to take it a little bit slower so I don't burn out as much as I did last time. I was just kind of trying to like pump out applications, and I just was very quickly losing steam. I'm realizing with where I am in life, I need to find a full-time job if possible. I'm the kind of person who I kind of need to be at least somewhat busy to be productive, if that makes sense. Andrew and I are both kind of like this. Basically, to time manage, it's helpful to have things to manage your time with. The more things that there is to get done, then the more things you have to manage, and the more motivation you have to like, okay, so I have 6 things going on. I need to time manage really, really well in order to accomplish all of them in a set time. And when there's not those kind of things, then sometimes if you only have like one responsibility, that just falls on the back burner because you're just like, well, I have all this time, it'll get done eventually. And then nothing ever gets done because there was nothing else really. And so it's just like, what's the point? I'll get to it eventually, and then you just don't get to it. And so Andrew and I both have gone through that phase. Andrew did early on when we first got married because he had just graduated from college and was kind of in the waiting period before he could start grad school. And then after we moved here and I had left my full-time job and was then working part-time, kind of a similar thing happened for me. A little bit, I think, less intense just because I still had the full-time job, the part-time job going on, and so there was still some motivation. Also, do you guys love this denim apron? I think it's adorable. My mom bought it for Andrew, but I think it looks cute on me too, so I wear it sometimes if I'm baking, which is rare. With my newfound motivation, I sent in the 2 applications, and now, like I said, I'm kind of in the waiting phase, and I think that's going to help motivate me with other things like my part-time job. It will help me with getting stuff done around the house, and then of course, like even the YouTube channel, I found the less I had going on, the less motivation I had to make content. And I think part of that is just I didn't feel like there was anything interesting that I had to do or say because of where I was, because I wasn't feeling like I was accomplishing anything. And if you've seen a lot of my other content, then you've seen probably that I do stuff regarding productivity and college success and those kind of things, and it just felt inauthentic to talk about productivity and those kind of topics when I felt unproductive. And even though I very much was in college, so if I'm talking about college, like it very much is authentic and true advice, it still felt, I don't know, icky almost to make content about something that I wasn't actively doing, even though I have seen like firsthand effects of like what good time management and that kind of thing can do in a college setting. It just didn't feel good to make content about something that I currently was not experiencing or doing. And so now that I've put in applications for some stuff again, I'm feeling a little bit more like, okay, getting somewhere. And I think part of that too is just part of college is you're supposed to be setting yourself up for success. And I was very successful in college, not to be like, I was successful, but I worked very hard in college and therefore had set myself up for success for post-graduation. My hair's going crazy. So I had set myself up as well as I possibly could for after graduating, and I even had like a pretty decent job straight out of college, which was amazing, and I wanted to make content about that as well. But then the fact that I left that job because my husband is working here, I didn't feel like I could really give solid advice to people because at this point I am like unemployed because I'm between work, like full-time position wise. So it just felt like, oh, like what can I offer people when I'm currently in the situation of trying to find a job and not really succeeding in that process. And if I'm honest, the first time I was looking for a job was very, very stressful for me. Just the process for me is very overwhelming. And then as well, I had a very specific goal for post-college, and so how I was going to attain that goal looked very different for me as far as like what I was imagining it to be versus like how it kind of was starting to pan out. And so that whole process was like very overwhelming, and I didn't really know how to deal with like all of the changes in how I was planning on doing things post-graduation versus how it was starting to like play out. I was planning on working for a nonprofit and wanting to start eventually a nonprofit in Japan. And as I was working towards graduation, my goal was to start working at one of those nonprofits in the States to then kind of learn more about the business and how things run and how things are successful, and then move that to Japan and kind of translate into something that would work well there. But that just wasn't panning out. There weren't that many job openings at the kind of nonprofit that I was wanting to work at, and I had professors really encouraging me to work in a more corporate kind of business for at least a little while, and I was kind of not excited about that. But since I wasn't really finding anything right off the bat at a nonprofit, then I did kind of expand my search. Since I grew up in Japan, I am conversational in Japanese. I definitely would not say my Japanese is strong. My husband went through like all of his schooling pretty much, graduated from high school at Japanese public school, so my fluency is probably that of like a 3-year-old. I can get along with 3-year-olds just fine. But when it comes to like more adult interaction and professional speaking and things like that, I very much sound uneducated. I sound very childish because of the grammar that I use, and the way that I speak is very childish, or like the way that you'd speak amongst your friends, not really the way that you'd want to speak to like a boss. But that's like the level of Japanese I have. But in any case, my professors really thought that I should push my Japanese ability and try to find a job that could benefit from that. And I didn't really think much of it. I actually pushed back a lot because I was like, my Japanese isn't that good, there's no point, blah blah blah. But I did end up finding a job at a Japanese manufacturer, and some of my managers and coworkers were Japanese, and they were very nice about my Japanese ability, even though they're very, very aware that it's not nearly as good as it should be or could be. But they're very, very kind, and for the most part I understand pretty well, so I can like listen to what people are saying and like kind of get the gist of it. And so if they talk to me, I could like understand for the most part, and then I might respond in English if I couldn't really adequately respond in Japanese. And so they were very patient with me, which I'm immensely thankful for. But yeah, because of that, I had like a different job path than I anticipated, but I did really enjoy it. I don't really know where this is going. I'm just kind of chatting with you guys about what things were like from college and on, and kind of why the direction of this channel is kind of a vloggy channel, but it's also like me wanting to talk to you about my experiences and like how I did things, because I do think that like the way that I did college and stuff like that, it's very much doable for like anybody. I don't think that I'm particularly gifted or anything like that. I think there's just kind of some strategies that people can use and find success in their college careers, and I wanted to share those kind of things, especially like how I graduated early and things like that. I think is very useful for anybody. But like I said, I didn't feel recently that I could adequately or honestly show that kind of thing and like how it would reach success, because I didn't feel like I was particularly successful, given that I had left my last job and am currently kind of unemployed. Since I am back at applying and hopefully we'll be working a full-time job soon, both positions seems like things that like I could do and would be decent at, and so how many times can I say I'm hopeful? I am hopeful. So basically post-college just hasn't looked exactly as I imagined it. I got married, which I definitely wasn't expecting to happen so quickly after graduation, because Andrew and I were not dating at the time of me like getting ready to graduate. We started dating right around when I graduated, and then it was a quick relationship because we had known each other for 3 years. So it's kind of a, are we in this? And we were in. Things are starting to open up a little bit in Vancouver. It seems like slowly we are moving towards a little bit more open. I think there's like 4 phases and we're on phase 1, which is really exciting. Restaurants are now open to eating inside, which was not the case before. It seems like some of the bathrooms at places are open, which was not the case before. So it just seems like things are starting to take a little bit more momentum in moving to a post-pandemic world, which is really exciting. And I think Andrew and I are really looking forward to getting to know where we're living beyond what it has been of trying to be as safe as possible. Obviously we're still being as safe as possible, but like anyways, you understand what I'm saying. We're all in this, we get it. We are planning to get our COVID vaccines in just about a week. So I might kind of vlog that process because I don't really know how it's gonna go, and I'm very curious, and I figure may as well document it. So that will be happening next week, and hopefully as more people are vaccinated and things move again towards a post-pandemic society, we'll have more chances to meet people. Maybe friends and family can come and visit us, get to see people again. And of course, meeting new people and making friends around here. Churches are starting to open up, so we're going to be making a list of all the places that we want to visit and what churches we want to see and go to, and hopefully we'll find a church community soon. And so just things like that is getting kind of exciting and very different from obviously the feeling of the last video where it just seemed like a never-ending situation, but it seems like we're finally, within a couple of months, half a year, whatever, we'll be moving towards our old normal. So that's just very exciting and encouraging, I think. I'm just looking forward to having it more possible to travel and things like that, because part of what was encouraging about moving to Canada was it was still like not a crazy impossibility to visit friends and family from the States, and we're also like kind of in that perfect in between where we're not super far from Japan flight wise. Like it's so much closer than we were on the East Coast when we lived in the States, and then in the same time we're about similar distance to go back to the East Coast where most of our friends and family live in North America. So yeah, it's just very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing people, just settling in more, exploring the area more, hopefully getting more active. We were just talking about this yesterday. It feels like ever since we came here, it was just, we felt very lazy, and it felt very much like we couldn't go out and we didn't want to go out. Part of it is Vancouver's very rainy in the winter, and so a lot of it was it's not really the environment to go and explore when everything's like gray and rainy and gloomy and all you can do is walk around. But at this point it's seeming like things are warming up a little bit and there's more non-rainy days so we can explore, and we're just looking forward to that a lot. Because of the mixture of COVID and our move, we haven't had that much time to like have shared activities between like me and Andrew. We thought it'd be fun to join some sort of like dance thing together or do something outside the home, and again because of COVID we spent a lot of time together, but it wasn't super intentional time. So we were both talking about how when we're dating, the quality versus quantity is like a much better ratio. Quality of your time spent together is much higher even if the quantity of your time is lower. And so right now we had ample supply of quantity time together, but there wasn't as much quality time together. And so we were doing a lot of just like watching Netflix and watching YouTube videos, and eventually that just gets really draining, and we were both kind of in survival mode a little bit of just let's try to make it through. And it wasn't so much that our relationship was struggling, it was just like we were just trying to come to terms with the new place that we were living, the way that things didn't look the way we hoped it would as far as making friends, things like that. But because things are starting to look a little bit better, I think we're finally able to start moving out of that survival mode, which is really exciting. And we're very much looking forward to what all that will entail for both our relationship and also just for our self-development and kind of getting back into improving ourselves and not just maintaining a status quo, but rather improving ourselves and working towards goals and being a lot more intentional with our time together, as well as just what kind of activities we're participating in and all that kind of stuff. We're very much looking forward to that, and I think we're already kind of moving in that direction, which is really exciting. And I just wanted to say I really appreciate all of your comments from the video that I did regarding the truth about moving to Vancouver. Some of you guys had some great suggestions, and a couple of you like reached out to me privately, and it's just been really nice to kind of speak to you guys. And some of you guys were from Vancouver, other people just had suggestions and encouragement, and it's nice. That was part of the reason that I wanted to make this YouTube channel or like continue with it, and it's nice to kind of see that come to fruition. And this is from like a very small channel, so thank you guys so much for your messages and comments. They are very much appreciated. If you like these kind of just sit down chat videos, let me know. I'm hoping to do some more fun vlog type videos. Andrew and I, we went and had a picnic at the beach the other day, and it was really fun. I took some footage on my cell phone, so if you guys want me to share that kind of in a vlog format, I'd be happy to. It'd be pretty short just because I didn't take my camera with me or anything. It was just some stuff from my phone, and I have an iPhone 7, so nothing to write home about. Well, technically, because I sent the footage to my parents, so I did write home. And I think as I get a little bit back into feeling like my typical, more productive self, I will be doing some more videos on productivity, on college stuff. Maybe even eventually I can get into like applications and how I do those kind of things. I will say I'm not by any means a application guru or anything, but I'd be happy to share how I've tried to do things. If nothing else, maybe it's something that people could watch and be like, that's how not to do an application process. And if I can be that person for you, then I'm totally okay with that, as long as it's helpful in some way. Guys, nothing says 2021 like a fresh mask out of the laundry. Anybody else with glasses struggle with the mask fogging up the glasses? Yeah, me too. I think, like I said, as I get a little bit more productive, I think my content will have some more variety. I won't show you guys doing my dishes as much anymore, hopefully. I do want to keep this as just real life as possible because that's the content that I enjoy taking in, and so that's content that I want to produce as well. And because of that, part of daily life is folding laundry and doing dishes. So I don't want to stop that kind of content, but I don't want every single video to be me unloading my dishwasher and editing it in a different manner. So I do want to make it more interesting, both for you guys, but also for me to look back on and see like, this is what I was doing, and like these are some of my highlights and this is some of my lowlights and things like that. So do want to continue with this kind of content. I think we all can say honestly, as things are moving to a resolution of the pandemic and all this, I think we're all looking forward to seeing the other side. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know I was kind of all over the place in what I was talking about, but these kind of videos, when I sit down and chat like this, I think they will be a little bit more like a verbal journal entry, and so they will be a little bit all over the place, but I just wanted to update you guys with how I'm doing, my progression both in the channel but also in my life, and how those things kind of correlate. If you haven't already, be sure and subscribe, and I hope to continue these kind of conversations with you guys. If you enjoyed this kind of content, give it a thumbs up, and I'd love if you comment down below what kind of content you like to watch. Thank you so much for being here. See you in the next one. Bye guys.